And with me in studio is Simcha Rothman, member of the Israeli parliament for the Religious Zionism Party, and Jeremy Saltan, the Knesset faction director of English operations for the Yamina Party. Gentlemen, let's start by focusing just on the next few days. Jeremy, the government, its plans for the next few days.
Well, today in the House committee, we put forth our own coalition version of dispersing the Knesset. We're able to get that approved with opposition support. And tomorrow we're going to have the first vote, which is the preliminary vote for dispersing the Knesset. Once that is done, we're either going to have a vote, depending on what happens in the House committee, which can always be a lot of fun in terms of determining what the agreed upon final date is for the election. Currently, the coalition opposition do not agree on what date that should be. If we are able to come to some sort of agreement, then we'll already have a vote for the first reading even on Wednesday. If not, that will be pushed off to Monday. But whatever we are able to get done tomorrow and whatever we're not, we're looking towards next week as the transition that you speak about from Prime Minister Bennett to Lapid.
Simcha, do you see any realistic possibility of the opposition blocking Yair Lapid from becoming Prime Minister and at this stage installing Benjamin Netanyahu?
Restoring Benjamin Netanyahu depends not on the opposition. It depends on part of the coalition. If they will decide they want to prevent a fifth election, they promised for years that they did the most, what I believe and what they believed to be the most horrible thing you can imagine, to join forces with terror-supporting parties. They said that they did it without any choice because they wanted to prevent a fifth election. As you start now, they are voting to go to fifth election and not give the prime minister to Netanyahu. It's another lie in the series of lies by Yamina's party and by Sarah's party. If they will come to their senses, we can prevent fifth election. We can have a stable government in this Knesset. If not, we're going to elections. But I'm not sure that anyone from the opposition has any preferences. A preference, who is the prime minister in the interim period? If it's Bennett or if it's Lapid, they showed in the past years that despite the difference in the audience that voted for them, they are aligned. They are both left-wing. They both went with terror-supporting parties. There is no difference between Bennett and Lapid, and they showed it quite clearly.
Okay, there are some members of the opposition who have said there's a preference, but fair enough, maybe that's not the majority view in the opposition. I want to go back to another possibility, a bill introduced by Avigdor Lieberman and Gideon Sa'ar to pass a law that would prevent a politician under indictment, a lawmaker on indictment, from becoming prime minister. Is that on the table, Jeremy, realistically?
There'll be a coalition management meeting in which that issue will be raised. It'll be discussed. Of course, next week we're also going to have the meeting of the Presidium of the Knesset to determine what the agenda will be for next week. I can tell you that we do want to have certain bills brought forth, ones that are very close to finishing the legislative process. Once you go to an election, you can't pass any new legislation.
And this would have to be done before next Wednesday.
So next Wednesday is the last possible day because of the Judea and Samaria issue, in which we would have to finalize the process of dispersing the Knesset and going to a new election. There are a lot of different bills that are on the table. Each party, each individual is pushing forth the stuff that is important to them. As a coalition, we'll go together and decide what it is that we're going to support going into next week.
Simcha, do you have concerns that as it's departing, the government will push a bill and even manage to pass a bill that would effectively prevent Benjamin Netanyahu from returning to the premiership?
First, for the past few weeks and even months, any law that was supported by the coalition, it was almost a guarantee that it won't pass in the Knesset, so I don't see a reason that will change. But that's put aside. I don't think this kind of law, if passed, it's of course undemocratic to pass a personal law against your opponent while you're going to elections. Even bringing this idea up must sound terrifying to anyone who understands what democracy is, and even being able to discuss it is a disgrace. But I don't think it will prevent Netanyahu. What I do think it will make that every party, and I believe my party included, if this law will pass, we will all say that the second we have 61 majority after the next election, we'll cancel this law. So it won't prevent Netanyahu from returning. If anything happens out of this law, it will make Netanyahu and the opposition stronger, because the undemocratic behavior of this government started a year ago, but this will be a grand finale.
All right. I do want to clarify the reason one of the reasons it didn't pass in the card is because Naftali Bennett said he did not believe his own party would support it, which would mean it would need the support of, for example, the joint list, which is of Arab parties.
That's the only way to pass a law today in the Knesset by the coalition, is just by the joint list.
Also by the opposition.
The joint list is part of the coalition almost full scale in the past 2-3 weeks.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
that's your own opinion.
Okay, gentlemen.
Everything I say is my own opinion.